Hi Virgo, welcome to your mid-June 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Oh wow, so there is a solar eclipse we are awaiting, and I think that, I haven't really been talking about this, but I do feel that this is playing a part in the mundane astrology angle, which means that world events. I live in the United States, so especially with the United States, that things are going to rock and roll. We will see about that if that transpires. But in terms of your chart, this is in your 10th house of career, so that is very much about rock and roll too, because this is kind of that height of the chart, and it really refers to your status. And with a solar eclipse, this can, be brought, out very prominently. Now, the other thing that we have to consider about this is that the Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your ruler, so we give that special importance, is happening in the same house. So you know how this could transpire. If there are some Virgos out there who have been reluctant to switch over to a new career, or maybe you're in that stage where, you know how a Virgo is. I have the moon in Virgo, so it's kind of like second guessing yourself or something like that, or over analyzing something. You may have opportunities present themselves, but at the same time, you're kind of going over old ground. So it's like, which one takes precedence? It's anyone's guess. So anyway, let's see what the cards say. I always get like relationship readings. Of course, this could be more than just relationship, or love, love kinds of things. I get the Sun card. Oh wow! But this can be a card of success, and certainly we know that this is what is going on. Oh, interesting. And you know what they say about eclipses is that whether it's a solar or a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse is supposed to be like a powerful new moon, so you think it's going to be new beginnings, but they're talking about how, it's really about change. So there can be endings as well. It's just, a crisis point. So the heart of the matter is the Sun card, and this card is connected to the sign of Leo, but in terms of what it represents, what doesn't it represent that it is of a positive nature? It represents success. So if we're talking about, combining it with the astrological transits, it can certainly be about the pinnacle of success that you have experienced, joy. This is a card of love, card of prosperity or abundance. God, I'm thinking of another word, and I can't think of the exact word I'm looking for, but in that family of, financial well-being. And it's the card of children. So, any kind of subject matter with children, but also actually, finding out you're pregnant, or finding out that you have given some kind of, given your sperm to somebody. No, impregnated someone, you're going to have a child, expecting a child. But just a general well-being card, and, connected with success. But really, when you think about it, the Sun in astrology, and therefore I would say the tarot, represents coming into your own, into your authenticity, and walking that path. And that brings with it all of those wonderful things. It can be about honoring yourself and honoring your own path, rather than maybe you have been taking care of somebody else, or too caught up in other people's lives. In the past position we have, and also the dignity too, that goes along with honoring yourself. In the past position we have the Seven of Swords. This can be about somebody cheating you, stealing from you. And even like in the workplace, this can be stealing intellectual ideas, passing them off as their own, or taking from you, siphoning from you in some way, your glory. The sun is your glory. I notice nowadays, there is this discomfort with the idea of talking about your success. And, we have the Instagram, the narcissistic tendencies, which have nothing to do with personal pride. They have to do with somebody who doesn't feel good about themselves inside and is trying to get other people to see how okay they are, how successful they are, all these things. But, downplaying it or minimizing it is the other side of that coin. And that is not, that is also not what I would call healthy or a good thing. The best thing a person can do is to take pride in their accomplishments and to feel like they, have done something that they can see their progress. They can see how it took so much for them. It took guts. It took, the ability to have faith that something was going to turn out and to celebrate that. It's like a celebration. And actually the sun card itself to me is celebration. So celebrating the fact that you got away from someone who didn't appreciate your good traits, for instance, didn't see the good in you, being able to appreciate those things within yourself, even if somebody, cheats on you, that you're still left standing and you're left saying, you know what, that doesn't say anything about me that person went outside of the relationship. You don't allow that to knock you down a peg or to make you feel bad about yourself. The higher message is the Eight of Pentacles. This is about somebody who's constantly honing their skills. Maybe there's a specific goal that you have in mind, but I'm not reading this as a literal card. So this to me ultimately is about working on yourself. Choosing self-improvement and that paying off for you because you're able to see, you're able to weather the storm of someone else's negative actions. Because it's funny, I think you're the second reading that I've done where I've gotten both the 5 and the 7 of swords, but this is not back-to-back readings. So it's not like, oh, well, you just picked from the top of the deck. No, I did shuffle and it was something else. But the 8 of Pentacles, too, is like, you are committed to doing a good job. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. It doesn't matter if they're trying to steal your ideas, take credit for them. You're still going to do a good job. And maybe they have support in that company. And, it's tempting to just mail it in until you can find something else. It's like this, to me, the sun, when I look at that card and how that the illustration shows that sun, it's so massive. I think of it overpowering, and it's so bright that it outshines anything dark that is around you. Speaking of which, this is the challenge card, the 5 of Swords, and this can indicate that someone is, and there could actually be multiple people, but there might be this, I would call it like a ringleader, somebody who is, I would say, in some cases it could be jealousy. So if this is in the workplace, there is like a bad apple that is trying to spoil the bunch, is trying to spoil the bunch against you, that's trying to poison the well against you. But it's not going to work if you don't buy into it. If you focus on your worthiness that the Sun card represents, you won't have any problems with it. If you start to question yourself, yes, it will be, they will get into your head. Because this is Swords energy. This is like mental, I was going to say mental hopscotch, which makes no sense. I mean, I don't even know what that would mean, but that kind of mind games that can make a person question themselves if they allow it. I mean, that's part of the MO, but you can, make sure that you don't do it. Okay, judgment was coming in, judgment day. Now, this can apply to somebody else. Somebody else may be getting their just desserts, but it can be a card of rebirth, the phoenix rising from the ashes, that feeling of like people counted you out, but they did not know that you had so much more waiting, behind the wings. Now, that's not the right term. Waiting within the wings? I don't know. But the other thing about this is that there's cause and effect in the universe. And I always tell myself that, whatever somebody has done, whatever that 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords person has done, you don't even have to waste the time to say, oh, wait a second, I'm going to have to leave this job because someone else is trying to do something to me. Because that actually, now that I'm thinking it and I'm saying this, that actually happened to me, where I ended up quitting from a job where when I think about it in retrospect, they were the person was probably trying to get me to do so, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker because the pressure was on. But you know what? I don't regret it, because I would have, for years afterwards, I really thought of that injustice of that situation. And now, I mean, it's not even the same feeling, but it's really hard to explain this to a person who is not experiencing it. It's hard to really articulate it. If you are feeling like this, I totally get it. And I was in that place, and it really, oh man, it was really hard. And not just for months, but for years afterwards. I really felt like I had lost something that was the most valuable thing in the world, like that this one job. And I realize now that that was simply coming from a limited state of consciousness, because I didn't know that there was anything else out there for me. And it's very easy to get into that frame of consciousness, that state of consciousness. It's very easy to have that narrow, view of things, because until you have expanded yourself. And this is until you expand yourself mentally, spiritually, and even like in terms of physical things, that you are exploring more out of life. And I really recommend, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I do recommend things connected to the law of attraction, like Abraham Hicks, because at the very least, it's a starting off point. It doesn't mean you have to become a cult member or just do things 100% according to, become a fundamentalist. You can just take some of those traits about seeing things, kind of like choosing what you allow into your reality, choosing to see things as only helping you. And like I said, I do have the moon in Virgo, so I understand, and also Virgo is an earth sign. So sometimes Virgo and Taurus and Capricorn are earthbound. They can only see things in the 3-dimensional reality. So anyway, they're telling me that I'm going to be, you have to learn how to see things in a higher dimension. And if you're more spiritually advanced, you will be able to see that. And the outcome is the World card. This is wrapping things up. This is like tying up loose ends. Your life may be, there might be something significant coming to an end. So being able to see that for what it is and to let go with love. You have 3 major arcana cards here, and they're all later cards. Actually, I just noticed that they're in order. So the Sun card is 19, Judgment is 20, and the World is 21, and that's the last card of Major Arcana. And so, this progression and this letting go, and some of that may be connected to the eclipse energy. You are a mutable sign, so you do form an aspect. I mean, as a sign, not, whether you do specifically with your degree of Virgo, Sun or Rising is a different story. But just in terms of the sign itself, it forms squares to Gemini and Sagittarius, which we have had in recent months. So both of these, the Sag eclipse was in the 4th house of home and family. So these areas, feeling the tension from these areas and how they are forcing you to kind of look at things, and maybe, this might even be about like moving for a job in this whole eclipse season in the last few weeks. And if you're someone who is a little bit not sure about that, maybe the 7 of Swords too, it doesn't have to be just like intellectual theft or theft in general, cheating and things. It can be that you are keeping your own counsel. Maybe with the 5 of Swords, you have to really do that even more so, because there might be loose lips in the office place. And if you are rising in station, if you are a rising star, someone else might not like that, and they might be trying to thwart you. I don't like to say things like that so that you're paranoid, but I'm just reading these cards. And with the 7 of Swords, it might be like you're starting to get that memo and you're starting to be more into yourself. This is a card of reaching your goals, and as a result, being able to kind of, I was going to say rest on your laurels, but there might be an active element to this, including travel. This could be graduating. Let's say you're graduating from college, and you're very happy because maybe there were people that were trying to thwart you, that were haters, that were saying you couldn't do it, and you showed them that you could. So the 8 of Pentacles, this to me is so much like Virgo. You're connected to Pentacles, but that idea of really striving to be the best. Virgo, actually, a lot of times, one of the best pieces of advice I could give you is to stop trying to be perfect, because that can paralyze a person, but to try to do your best in each moment. And if that is less than how your ideal, that you're still okay with it, that you don't second guess yourself. So yeah, there might be something that is ending for you, but it's a happy ending. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. I'm primarily an astrologer. I say that just because, when I'm doing this, I want to, say what I am, but I'm proud of being an astrologer too. I think I do things in my own way, and that it differs from some people, but I have my own reasons for why I do what I do. But if you resonate with me and you'd like to work with me, the link is below. Take care. Bye.